Asterisk, it started like any other high-profile guest appearance on The View. Tom Hardy, the enigmatic British actor known for his intense roles and magnetic screen presence, had been invited to promote his latest psychological thriller, The Hollow Silence. The film had already garnered critical acclaim at early screenings, and Hardy was doing the media rounds. Despite his well-known aversion to daytime talk shows, Asterisk, dressed in a charcoal suit with a crisp black shirt and his signature rugged charm, Hardy appeared reserved yet polite. As he took his seat across from the panel of familiar faces Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah N., Sunny Hostin, Anna Navarro, and Joy Beharian's members clapped excitedly. Not knowing the calm would soon give way to storm, Asterisk, the first 10 minutes went smoothly. Whoopi opened the conversation with praise for Hardy's performance. "You've got this quiet rage that just simmers on screen," she said. Hardy nodded graciously and responded with a modest smile. "It's a heavy role, but that's what drew me in." Asterisk Joy Behar, always the one to stir the pot, took things in a different direction. Asterisk, "Don't you ever feel concerned," she said, glancing at her cue card, "that films like yours, dark, intense, often male-driven, end up glorifying violence or toxic masculinity?" Asterisk, there was a noticeable shift in Hardy's posture. He didn't answer right away. The audience, sensing tension, went silent. Asterisk, "I think that's a loaded way to frame it," he finally said. "We're not promoting violence, we're telling stories, complex stories. If people can't separate the two, maybe they're not watching closely enough." Asterisk Behar raised her eyebrows, unfazed. "But doesn't the sheer volume of these stories reinforce certain images? The brooding, dangerous man with unresolved trauma, doesn't that get tired? Or even harmful?" Asterisk Hardy let out a short breath. His jaw tightened, but his voice remained calm. "Actors don't write culture. We reflect it. It's not our job to sanitize human experience for the sake of palatability." Asterisk Sarah N. tried to shift the tone, interjecting with a light comment about Hardy's previous role in Venom, but the moment had already snowballed. Asterisk Behar leaned in, refusing to let go. "I just think people like you, handsome, tough, adored, need to be mindful of what you're putting out there." Asterisk Hardy's eyes narrowed slightly. He spoke deliberately. "I am mindful. That's why I do what I do with care. But I won't apologize for exploring the darker sides of humanity. That's part of the human condition, isn't it?" Asterisk, the back and forth escalated. Behar accused Hardy of being defensive, and Hardy shot back with your confusing critique with character assassination. The other co-hosts sat uneasily, exchanging glances as the mood on stage turned sharp. Asterisk producers off camera were already signaling for a commercial break. But Hardy and Behar weren't done. Asterisk, maybe, if more people in your position took responsibility, Behar added, we wouldn't be normalizing so much aggression in pop culture. Asterisk Hardy stood up slowly, clearly fed up. Responsibility is a two-way street. If you're going to sit behind a desk and throw out simplified judgments, maybe you need to take a look in the mirror. Asterisk gasps echoed from the audience. Whoopi tried to intervene. All right, let's just asterisk, but Hardy was already moving without waiting for the cameras to cut. He removed his mic, placed it neatly on the table, and walked off the set. Security appeared from the wings, but not in panic, just protocol. The segment ended abruptly, with an emergency ad break thrown in to cover the mess. Asterisk backstage. Sources later revealed, Hardy declined to wait for transport arranged by the studio. Instead, he walked out the side door of the building into a black SUV and disappeared without another word. Asterisk meanwhile, inside the studio, the energy had completely shifted. The remaining hosts returned after the break, trying to smooth things over. Live TV folks, Whoopi said with a half-hearted chuckle, sometimes it just gets a little too real. Asterisk, but everyone knew what had just happened wasn't ordinary friction. It was a blow-up, and the cameras had caught every second of it. Asterisk, by the time the episode finished airing on the East Coast, social media was ablaze. Clips, memes, reactions, everyone had an opinion. And whether you were siding with Tom Hardy or Joy Behar, one thing was clear. This was no ordinary talk show segment. This was a moment destined to be replayed, dissected, and talked about for weeks. The moment Tom Hardy walked off the set of The View, the producers knew damage control wasn't just necessary, it was urgent. Within minutes, audience members had begun tweeting fragments of the confrontation. By the time the episode aired on the West Coast, social media had already exploded with opinions, memes, and split-screen edits of Hardy glaring at Joy Behar asterisk. The hashtag Hardy vs Behar shot to the top of trending charts on X, formerly Twitter, and fans on TikTok turned Hardy's last line. Maybe you need to take a look in the mirror into a viral audio clip. It was being used in skits, dramatic edits, and even makeup tutorials. Everyone wanted in on the moment. Asterisk entertainment sites ran with it immediately. ET Online, Variety, and TMZ published headlines like, asterisk Tom Hardy walks out on The View in live TV showdown, asterisk Joy Behar and Tom Hardy go toe-to-toe, who went too far. Asterisk fiery exchange or PR masterclass. Asterisk behind closed doors, ABC executives were scrambling to calm advertisers and assess the fallout. Some were furious, others intrigued. We don't want chaos on our platform, one insider reportedly said, but you can't deny it's the most watched segment we've had in months. Asterisk meanwhile, Hardy remained silent. He skipped the next 2 press appearances scheduled for his film, fueling speculation that he'd either gone into damage control, Modor simply didn't care. Paparazzi finally spotted him 2 days later, walking his French bulldog through the West Village, hood up, expression unreadable. Reporters bombarded him with questions. Asterisk, would you go back on The View? Asterisk, did Joy Behar cross the line? Asterisk, any regrets, Tom? Asterisk, he said nothing, just kept walking. But silence, in this case, spoke louder than any press conference. Back at The View, tensions simmered. The day after the Hardy episode aired, Joy Behar opened the show with a statement. We're a show built on passionate opinions. Sometimes those passions collide. I stand by asking tough questions, that's my job. But I regret how heated things got. Asterisk, some took this as an olive branch. Others accused her of dodging accountability. The backlash was split right down the middle. Asterisk, the co-hosts did their best to move on. But every topic that week was shadowed by references to the Hardy incident. Audience questions were laced with subtle jabs. This isn't going to make anyone walk off again, right? Even guest appearances felt tenser, as celebrities now feared becoming the next viral casualty. Asterisk for Hardy, however, the controversy had the opposite effect on his career. The Hollow Silence, the film he had originally gone on the show to promote, saw a 40% spike in pre-release ticket sales. Fans who had never even heard of the movie were now rushing to support the actor who stood his ground. Asterisk his quiet defiance, his refusal to be politically correct on command, made him an instant symbol of unfiltered masculinity to some, and a stubborn hothead to others. But no matter where people landed, one truth was clear. Everyone was talking about Tom Hardy. Asterisk a week later, Hardy finally broke his silence. He posted a black and white photo on Instagram, an empty film set. Spotlight aimed at a lone director's chair with the caption, asterisk art should provoke thought, not apology. Within minutes, celebrities chimed in. Charlize Theron commented, respect. Director Denis Villeneuve left a simple fire emoji. Even Ryan Reynolds couldn't resist. Can someone please let Tom Hardy host a debate show now? Asterisk meanwhile, Joy Behar gave one final comment on the situation during a Friday episode. Some people walk away when things get uncomfortable. Others lean in. I've been leaning in for 26 years. Her words drew applause, but also from those who saw it as a passive dig. Asterisk. Weeks passed, but the Hardy-Behar clash remained in the cultural bloodstream. It became the subject of podcasts, late-night jokes, and even a Saturday Night Live parody. Cast member Mikey Day played a brooding Hardy, silently staring down a flustered Joy played by Kate McKinnon. The crowd roared. Asterisk, and while both parties returned to their routines, Hardy to the red carpet, Behar to her panel, it was clear that moment had altered the showbiz landscape in subtle ways. Interviews got tighter, guests became more cautious, and the once routine world of daytime television had proven it could still deliver lightning in a bottle. Asterisk, by the time the Hollow Silence premiered, Hardy was once again the talk of the town, but now with a deeper aura of mystery and controversy. Critics loved the film. Audiences packed theaters. And when Hardy accepted an acting award 2 months later, he ended his speech with one line. Asterisk, thank you for letting me tell the story, even when it made people uncomfortable. The crowd stood, and the message was clear. Walk-offs fade, but authenticity lingers.